Hello, 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 and welcome to yet another episode of the one and only and not so lonely Crush It with Creativity podcast with your host, Joy Koch. What is that we crush in this podcast? Well, anything that poses itself as an obstacle on your path to step into your field of favor gets crushed in this Crush It with Creativity podcast. So brace yourself for an exciting episode and keep crushing it with your creativity. This is Joy Koch.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to episode 8 in the Crush It with Creativity podcast. This is your host, Joy Koch, and the topic of this episode is Innovation to Innovation for Impact and Profit, a continuous roadmap, part 2 of 3. Let us do a quick recap on the previous episode where I introduced you to the first 3 milestones in the innovation roadmap: identify, evaluate, and innovate. In the identified milestone, we had done some basic market research and had identified the problem that we are going to solve with our invention or innovation. In the evaluate milestone, we had performed some more detailed research to determine the commercial viability of a solution that could solve the problem that we had identified. With a clearer commercial viability determined, we then proceeded to solve our problem through innovation. This now sets the stage for the rest of this episode as I walk you through 2 of the next milestones in the roadmap. If you are listening to an audio-only version of this podcast, you may want to consider visiting my blog at https://crushitwithcreativity.uniqueimpactability.com and search for the topic Continuous Roadmap for a graphical representation of the roadmap that I'm referring to, making it easier for you to follow along. The next milestone after identify, evaluate, and innovate is called manufacture. With your invention or innovation complete in the innovate milestone, your physical product is ready to be manufactured or your new service is ready to be deployed. The manufacture milestone itself can have steps for innovation in the methods and processes used to make it more streamlined, more accurate, and efficient process that reduces cost without compromising quality. From automation, robotics, new technologies such as 3D printing to artificial intelligence and machine learning, innovation in manufacturing has been outstanding in the past 2 decades, churning out high-quality products faster and cheaper. In the recent years, tremendous progress has been made on the materials used to build physical products from the perspective of easier formability, adaptability, and the physical properties such as strength, durability, environmental tolerance, longevity, and overall performance. The increasing shift to contract manufacturing also has lowered the cost of manufacture, created centers of excellence, streamlined the manufacturing process, and created innovative manufacturing ecosystems leading to collective growth. More recent innovative technologies such as augmented reality has provided significant advances in prototyping, product performance simulations, what-if analyses, and worker guidance systems to streamline the manufacturing process, reduce waste, improve accuracy, and shorten the lead times to market. In the service sector, Amazon, in my opinion, is the undisputed leader in innovation. Not including companies that Amazon has acquired, Amazon has been at the front line of innovation in the service sector, at least in my opinion. And there are no signs of them slowing down, and they should not slow down. Why would they? With the stellar success that they have achieved just in this past decade. This company innovates microeconomies that create jobs, streamlines their operations, and increases brand awareness. Think about the millions of people worldwide who are earning a living through the Amazon FBA, or Fulfillment by Amazon service. Think about what an amazing job Amazon has done for self-published authors with their KDP, or Kindle Direct Publishing, which was earlier called the Create Space program. They created a microeconomy surrounding this one service. One cannot ignore what Amazon has done with their Amazon Logistics and the Amazon Flex programs. They have actually created livelihood for so many people who are making a living delivering packages for Amazon. Can you imagine next day shipping for free? And by golly, that actually happens? The point I'm making here is, when you think about your innovation of your idea, also think about how you can streamline your manufacturing process of your product or the delivery process of your service. Think about how your core product can evolve with microservices that revolve around that core to further enhance your brand awareness in the market. Your product or service innovation is all about impact, right? Well, could you innovate these microservices around your core product or service that could amplify that impact for more lives in your expanded domain of influence? Think about this carefully. You may actually have a larger domain of influence, a greater level of impact, and possibly more revenue opportunities possible with that one core creative idea that you're innovating with your product and service. And this takes us to the next milestone in the roadmap: commercialize. Commercialization is the precursor for your product or service to make that intended impact and generate that profit that got you started on your innovation or invention in the first place. This milestone contains a slew of activities that lead to the introduction of your product in your target market through marketing, advertising, distribution, delivery, service, and maintenance. Some prefer to include the production or the manufacture of that product or service also as part of commercialization. Well, I kinda differ in that opinion. Because as you've seen in our innovation roadmap, we had already performed our commercial viability determination before we even started the innovate phase. And perhaps by that preparation, we also would have conserved a lot of money, time, and energy and resources in the process. If it was not commercially viable, we would never even have gone to the innovation stage. During Innovate, we prototyped our product or service, and perhaps we also innovated the manufacturing process to ensure that when we entered the manufacture milestone for mass production, we already had our ducks in a row so that our product or service could be served in a golden platter for the commercialization activities to ensue. I talked about the importance of the lead time to market in the previous episode for your new innovation, in order to capture your early mover advantage in the market. The buzz for your product or service must start when your innovation is close to be market ready. Since you would not have any historical numbers for the sale of the new product or service, you would not start mass production right away. However, in order to meet the launch day or the launch week or the launch month demand, properly planning is needed to ensure that you have enough supply for the anticipated demand. I have recommended to my clients to start their market awareness programs when they're about 4 to 6 weeks before launch, depending, of course, on the nature of the product or service being introduced in the market to generate that buzz. Starting the buzz too early could make the market lose interest in vaporware. Just like starting the buzz too late, too close to launch date may not generate enough momentum to hit the launch day sales out of the park. Accepting pre-orders, promoting on-showroom or even virtual tours of your product before the launch is a great way to create the buzz in the market and also help you estimate the demand for inventory at launch. Pre-launch marketing is an ocean of knowledge and expertise in itself. And quite honestly, there is not one size that fits all, which, as you can understand, leaves ample room for creative thinking and innovation in itself. Major movie producers and behemoths like Apple, Tesla, Samsung are masters of creating massive market interest before launch. Perhaps in a future episode, I will invite an expert pre-launch marketer who can share their experiences with you. Commercialization is also about distribution of your product or service in the market. Depending on your distribution model, you may need to partner up with a third-party distributor way ahead in advance of launch to make it a successful launch. The distribution network depends on the geographical radius that you are targeting for launch. There is an entirely different sort of marketing that needs to be done to potential distributors, especially if they're external third parties, to convince them to agree to distribute your product. And this process should ideally start towards the beginning of the manufacture milestone so that you have ample time to have your distribution network ready. The marketing and advertising activities for commercialization is the deal maker or the deal breaker for new products and services. Many moons ago, and for some of you, you probably won't even remember, when I graduated out of my engineering school in India, personal computers were just being introduced into the mainstream. There were about 5 companies at that time who were marketing their computers in the Indian market. One of those companies, the name is not important, they had the worst quality product, but curiously had the largest sales. Their marketing had been so strong at launch, and they had such an aggressive sales team that the market gravitated towards their product despite serious quality issues. And I had thought that those sales guys could point at the moon and convince people that they were looking at the sun. I'm not saying by any stretch of imagination that you get motivated by that story, but understand the importance of powerful marketing messages and advertising campaigns directed to the specific who of your new product or service in order to have a successful commercialization experience. Commercialization is the beginning of your intended impact on the lives of your who. This is when the promises of your marketing messages, the claims of your advertising campaigns will be put under the discerning opinions of your who when they actually get their hands on your product or start to avail of your new service. Uber started off with just 3 cars in their fleet in the California Bay Area. Now, it is a worldwide economy by itself, delivering livelihood to millions of people worldwide. Hence, the success of your commercialization depends strongly on delivering on the promise you made in your marketing messages, and it is possible with a stable and high quality product or services that creates that intended impact. All right, let us wrap up and let's talk about what's coming up next. In the next and final episode of the Innovation Roadmap discussion, we will wrap up that discussion with impact, profit, and feedback, which, as you will see, would lead us back to re-engage in our roadmap with continuous improvement and more innovation. As I wrap up this episode, think about your invention or innovation in the context of all the 5 milestones that I have explained so far in the continuous innovation roadmap. What can you do, perhaps, to make certain adjustments to your approach, to your plan of attack on your problem in focus, to make a bold and beautiful entry into the market with your high impact product and service that generates the wealth and fame that you desire and deserve? Well, my friend, we are at the end of this episode. I will catch you in the next one. In the meantime, if you know anyone who could benefit from this episode, please help me make an impact in their lives by sharing this with your social network. Sharing is caring, as I always say, more so when what you share can benefit others. That is all I have for now in this episode. Take care, and I will catch you soon in the next one. Goodbye for now.
Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of this episode in the Crush It with Creativity podcast. We trust you enjoyed it just like Joy did, pouring his heart out to you. Should you feel this episode added value to you, we would love for you to share this episode with your friends and family in your social media networks so that we can impact other lives with our message. Ready to take on a Crush It with Creativity challenge for yourself and really crush whatever poses an obstacle for you stepping into your field of favor? Visit us at www.uniqueimpactability.com for details on the next challenge coming up and sign up for more information. Until the next episode, take care and keep crushing it with your creativity.